Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a really important topic, how Nepal is fighting back against dirty money. We're diving into the Asset Laundering Prevention Act, which is basically the shield that protects the country's entire financial system. So let's get right into it.
Really think about it for a second. That money doesn't just vanish into thin air. Criminals have to find a way to make it look legitimate, right? So they can actually use it. And that simple problem is exactly where our story begins.
All right, so before we can really understand the solution, we have to get a handle on the problem itself. This law is specifically designed to tackle two huge financial crimes that don't just threaten the economy, but, they can threaten national security too. Let's break them down.
First up, you have money laundering. The best way to picture this is to think of a giant washing machine for criminal cash. The whole point is to take that dirty money from illegal stuff, run it through a super complicated cycle of transactions, and have it pop out on the other side looking sparkling clean and totally legal.
Now, the second threat is terrorism financing, and this one's a little different. See, with money laundering, the money starts out dirty. Here, the money can actually come from perfectly legal sources. The crime isn't where the money came from, it's where it's going. It's all about knowingly funding illegal and dangerous activities.
Okay, so you've got these two massive threats. How do you fight back? Well, that brings us to the law itself, and we can see exactly how this legal shield was built.
And this was not a one-and-done kind of deal. The original act was passed way back in 2064 BS, but look at this timeline. It has been updated again and again and again with major revisions as recently as 2080 BS. This shows you it's a constant battle, trying to stay one step ahead of some very creative criminals.
And you don't have to guess what this law is all about. It's written right there, crystal clear in the preamble. The goal is to prevent two things: laundering criminal property and financing terrorism. That's it. A really direct and powerful mission statement.
But, a law is just words on paper without people to enforce it. So, who's actually on the front lines of this fight? Well, the Act names a whole bunch of institutions to act as the financial system's gatekeepers. It's literally their job to watch the gates.
And these gatekeepers, or Suchak Sanstha as they're called, are way more than just banks. Of course, you have the big financial institutions, banks, insurance companies, money remitters. But the net is cast so much wider. It also includes places like casinos, real estate agents, and even professionals like lawyers and accountants when they're handling certain big transactions. It just goes to show how many different doors they're trying to guard.
All right, so we know who the gatekeepers are, but what does the law actually expect them to do? What are their duties? Let's take a look.
It all really starts with this one core idea: know your customer. First, they have to figure out who their customer really is and verify it with official documents. But here's the absolutely crucial part. They have to identify the Vastavigdani, or the real beneficial owner. They need to know who is actually pulling the strings and controlling the money, not just the name on the account.
Now, here's the smart part. The law knows that not every customer is the same. It uses a risk-based approach. So for your average low-risk person, a simple check is fine. But for a high-risk client, like a politically exposed person or someone involved in really big, complex deals, they have to switch to enhanced due diligence. That means getting the bosses to sign off and digging way deeper into where all that money is coming from.
So they're doing all this work, they're checking all the boxes, they're verifying identities. But what happens when something just doesn't add up? A transaction looks weird, or the customer's story has holes in it. What then?
The answer is simple, and it is not a suggestion. It is a legal requirement. They must file what's called a suspicious transaction report. This is probably the single most important duty they have.
And the responsibility doesn't end when the transaction is over. Oh no. All of these records, the customer IDs, the transaction details, everything, it all has to be kept safe and secure for a minimum of 5 years, even after they've stopped doing business with that person. This creates that crucial paper trail that investigators might need years later.
Okay, so we've been deep in the details of the law, the rules, the responsibilities, but let's just zoom out for a second. Why does any of this technical stuff actually matter to regular people and to the country as a whole?
Because a strong system like this does so much more than just catch bad guys. It protects the entire economy. It makes it incredibly hard for criminals to actually enjoy their profits. And it chokes off the money supply for terrorism. Plus, on a global stage, it builds trust, making Nepal a safer place for international business. At the end of the day, this is about creating a more stable country for every single person.
And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it?
We have this powerful framework. We have the gatekeepers. We have the rules. But the world of financial crime never stands still. It's always evolving. So the real question isn't just about having the law. It's about whether we can keep up. Thanks for joining me.